Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Fer and this is a bonus episode of Deciphering Phyrexian. But first, this episode, like all my episodes, bonuses or not, are brought to you by my Patreons: Automotiusum, Matt Zweig, Daniel H. McGilvray, Marlo Brown, Valerie Hyde, David Saunders, and T. Highfield. All my patrons, thanks 1,000 times, thanks a million times. And in this episode, I want to continue telling you the story of people who deciphered Phyrexian before me by going to the distant lands of MTG Salvation. This was a forum where people talked before Reddit was a thing. And here, in 2011, when Phyrexian was shown to the world for the first time, a lot of people came together to decipher Phyrexian. And I went like an archaeologist through all their comments. I read everything they wrote, and I collected the highlights of their years-long conversation. And I even found a new Phyrexian source. A Phyrexian source that is not in the Phyrexian wiki, that is not anywhere else. And as far as I can tell, this is a source of Phyrexian that is now lost to time, but was only saved in screenshots in this forum. Okay, are you ready? Okay, so let's begin. We began actually with this very funny comment of someone saying that someone is going to crack that language in a week for sure. My God, don't try, my sweet summer child. It's taking us a little bit longer than a week, but we are getting there. Then this guy, Aluminum Can, I guess is like a joke from Aluminum Can, says, I wish the Phyrexian speech in the video wasn't so heavily distorted. It's impossible to make out any source of recognizable phoneme. It all ends up as gargle noise, but apparently there are actual words being spoken underneath that. I wish so bad we could hear some clean, clear examples of Phyrexian speech. And yes, Luminum Can, through time and space, I feel empathy with you. We are in the same wavelength. We want the exact same thing, and I hope we will get it. Then it's very funny that we have this one saying, this guy saying, Biko. Fun fact, whenever I learn this language, I'm getting something in the language tattooed somewhere on me. It's very funny because I've gotten so many messages, so many comments from people who want tattoos in Phyrexian. And maybe I don't get it because I'm not a tattoo person. But it's funny how the millisecond Phyrexian was shown for the first time, people wanted tattoos. And I hope they will be able to get them soon. They've been waiting for more than 10 years to be able to get tattoos in Phyrexian. But they can't because we know so little about the language and nobody wants to have something wrong in their tattoo, right? At this point, we get to the new source of Phyrexian I mentioned earlier. Maybe I should leave this for the end of the video, but I'm going chronologically, so I'm gonna stick to that. So this guy, Deadsmorph, posted this screenshot. And okay, let me show you the screenshot. Look at that. So apparently, this was a website in which you could see some previews of some Magic the Gathering cards, and you could select the language of the website. And as you can see, along with some options like English, French, and Italian, you have Phyrexian. And this is really exciting because check this out. We have seen this word a million times. This is Phyrexian in Phyrexian. But what is this? We have never ever seen this word anywhere else. And I assume, because of the context, that it must mean language. So this is the Phyrexian language. Sadly, it's a little bit hard to know exactly how to pronounce this word. But okay, I'm gonna assume this is like some kind of fricative and this is some kind of rhotic. So maybe it should be something like ruv, maybe something like that. So Phyrex ruv would be something like Phyrexian language. And this is incredible. And I'm just wondering, what happens if you click this link? Like, if they click this link, were they taken to a website entirely written in Phyrexian? Like, if so, I need to find this website. I've been looking everywhere. I used the Wayback Machine. I tried to look at their comments to try to find what kind of website they were talking about. I couldn't find it. So yeah, this is a mystery. If anyone finds this website, either in the web today or using the Wayback Machine. And if you don't know what the Wayback Machine is, this is a a catalog. No, it's more like an archive. Actually, it's called the Internet Archive. This is an archive of how the internet was, and they keep archiving more and more pages. I think they have like billions and billions of pages, and it is an amazing resource. And so, and I'm gonna put a link in the description to that. So if you can use the Internet Archive to find this website, please send me the link. I'm willing to even offer some kind of reward. Maybe some, I mean, I don't have a lot of money. Maybe I could give you $10 or something if you give me the URL. But yeah, this is incredible. I want to know what happens when you click the link. And the crazy thing is that this example of Phyrexian is not in the wiki. It was not cataloged anywhere else. It was just there, buried in the depths of this dev conversation from like what, like more than 10 years ago, and I unearthed it like an digital archaeologist. And yeah, this is very exciting. But let's keep going. This one is really interesting because, as far as I can tell, Kuvu Monarch was the first person to decipher something about Phyrexian and post their progress online. Here we can see that they correctly identified the verb get in the card for Eleshnorn, and they deduced correctly that verbs are at the end of sentences in Phyrexian. And yeah, I just like a lot of this point in time because before this comment, people were talking about the language, but this was the first person who actually deciphered some of it and shared their progress online. But then we have Nodomo. And Nodomo became a very regular user in this conversation, and they did a lot of very good progress. And in fact, like, I'm surprised. Like, check this out. First of all, he notices, or she notices, that the verbs are at the end of sentences. Okay, correct. Then they notice that the ticks to the right of the line tell you the place of articulation, NRL, and that the groups of three lines sticking out of the right or left are probably vowels. I find this really special because if you look back at my previous videos, you will notice how I avoided talking about pronunciation because I just couldn't crack it. Until eventually I realized that this was a feature language, and yeah, indeed, the diacritics tell you the place of articulation, and yet here was this guy in 2011, and he realized it like this. Immediately he knew what it meant. And then also the characters in the line probably tell you the manner of articulation. Yeah, these two pieces of knowledge, that the characters tell you the manner of articulation and that the diacritics tell you the place of articulation, it took me a while to figure this out. It was, I don't know why it was very hard for me, but this guy got it like this. That's incredible. And then they say like the schwa or whatever reduced vowel is not written, correct again, and they have a correct transcription of Eleshnorn with a glottal stop, and then they say, I believe Hebrew has some similar lack of written vowels. And this is incredible because I've been saying for a while that the inspiration for Phyrexian was German and some Semitic language, probably Hebrew, maybe Arabic. And like this guy noticed it from the start. It's incredible. So many things right. This is another very important moment in the history of Phyrexiology. This user, Saville, became also a very regular in this forum discussing Phyrexian, and they devised this system by which they could type Phyrexian with their keyboards. And this became a standard that everyone adopted. In fact, if you go to the wiki today, you will see that they use this system to transcribe Phyrexian. And in fact, there was a Phyrexian dictionary written way before mine that uses this system to transcribe all the words in Phyrexian. And the reason I liked it so much is because, well, I had seen this being used in the wiki and in the first Phyrexian dictionary, but I didn't know where it came from. And it was very rewarding when I was looking through this forum and then I found this post and to know like, oh, so this is the origin. This is how that system started. I don't know, it feels, you feel like an archaeologist finding some forgotten ruins or something. And then we have this Giga Chad, or maybe Giga Stacy, and they did something really cool. First of all, they took all the examples of Phyrexian they had, written with Saville's system, and they analyzed how frequent they were in the language, and then they reported back. And like, have you ever been so cool that you did statistics on a conlang to try to decipher it? Like, oh my god, that's incredible. I can only aspire to one day be this cool. And these people kept at it for months, and what followed was the slow and grindy work that is science, the work that is necessary to know anything for certain. These people were bouncing ideas off of each other, proving things right, proving things wrong, discussing the grammar, the syntax, the phonetics, everything. And I just love that, this community of people doing science together, trying to get at the truth, trying to decipher something, trying to discover something. I love that. I think it's really cool. But eventually, there came a point where the community just couldn't do anything more with the examples they had. Because, believe me, they took full advantage of it. They analyzed it from every angle. But there comes a point where you need more examples, more data. And they kind of fell into despair. And this post summarizes it very well. Here they talk about how Phyrexian seemed like such a cool idea, and it was clear that Wizards of the Coast put a lot of effort into it, and so they kind of expected more cards, more comics, more videos, more content in Phyrexian, but instead, no, nothing else. That was it. And yeah, they couldn't do anything more. And I think eventually people just lost interest because they just the work couldn't advance any further. But thankfully, some years later came this user Moon E. And it's very cool. Okay, so let me read you what they say. Hey everyone, sorry for this necro, but I was just looking through some old threads and noticed that the forum change broke some of the formatting code, which meant all the awesome work we did in this thread was rendered unreadable. I've decided to repost all of our compiled work here so that anyone who comes across it in the future will actually be able to tell what's going on. And I love that. I genuinely love that so much. That idea of leaving something for the people of the future, like preserving the work from your community made, like preserving the work of all of these strangers working together so that the people in the future could read it. I felt like this person was talking to me. Like through time and space, this person was helping me. And I just love that. I don't know why, but whenever I feel a connection with people from the past, whether it be some Hittite people or some Egyptian farmer or something, or this guy in 2014, I don't know why, but I really like it. And this guy did an amazing job. Like they really did summarize everything. Every progress they have made in the forum is summarized in this one post. And Moon E, if you ever watch this video, you are freaking amazing. I thank you for that. Like, long live the archivers that preserve the past for posterity. That phrase is way more poetic than I thought it would be, but that's how I really feel. Long live the archivers. Yeah, because we have to preserve the past for the future. And anyway, and so, yeah, this is the story of the people from MTG Salvation, the first people to decipher Phyrexian. They correctly noticed that the word order in Phyrexian is subject, object, verb. They correctly discovered how the Phyrexian writing system worked, even if they didn't realize how important that was. They correctly identified most of the vocabulary. And I don't know, it's amazing. Like if you were in MTG Salvation in this forum participating, good for you. And now I'm here to pick up the torch and continue and continue the effort until we can write the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in Phyrexian. That's my goal. When I can write the entire Declaration of Human Rights in Phyrexian, at that point, this will be over. And then I will say we've deciphered that. That's my threshold. And so yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you stayed up to this point in the video, you probably like Phyrexian a lot, and I imagine you would probably enjoy some cards in Phyrexian. Well, guess what? I've partnered with Kyle from Scorch Altars to bring you cards in accurate Phyrexian, like this beautiful Sol Ring over here. And so yeah, there's a link in the description to the Facebook page of Scorch Altars. You can see the catalog, you can see what cards we have. There are also sometimes auction where we sell extra special cards, so be on the look for that. And so yeah, thanks for watching, and goodbye.